expectations of grandma?
That's why I'm sitting here. No, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't.
And I didn't either.
Because I watched my mom work so hard with 8 children, sacrifice so much, that I was happy when she was released from us. I told her, get out of here. Go do something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so delighted when Mom was able to travel the world and not keep my kids. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm just saying my experience was I was elated that my mom's life changed because she was a missionary to 8 kids. We all now, 5 or 6 of us are in full-time ministry. So what she wanted to be, I'm backing up and getting very confused because I'm so excited that I got to see my mom do so much with her life before the Lord took her home at 97. Yes. She wanted to be a missionary.
Aww.
And then the Lord gave her this husband and a kid every year, no birth control. And she said, well, I guess this is my mission field.
Yeah.
And she literally invested in us. I'm a recipient of scriptures that I remember today because my mother, every day before we went to school, make up your beds, breakfast is ready, devotions, every day because Daddy worked out of town to support us. So I have a different picture. Maybe that's why I don't babysit a whole lot. Because I just happy my mom was released.
I think that's a generational thing. I think a lot of I think I hear a lot of. I think it's a two-sided thing.
My husband's mother lived near us. She never babysat. My mother never babysat. We didn't live near one another.
There wasn't an expectation.
But there was never
There's
an
not
expectation.
That's it.
But what there's 2 sides to this
That's
coin.
gotta be it.
What I hear is that there are a lot of there's a lot of mothers who are frustrated because they're not getting help from their mothers. There's an expectation of help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they're frustrated because they still need mothering.
Okay.
They need mothering. So it's not that I need my mother to be available to my kids.
Okay.
I want my mother to be available to me.
Okay.
So, and I don't know, I haven't studied it, I haven't thought about it, I haven't.
No, I think
but
that's a really
but I
good
just think it's
possibility,
interesting
sure.
that there is a dynamic of no expectation
Yeah. That's
and
interesting.
lots of expectation.
And could it be too, Chrystal, there was an age thing. Our mothers got married later. What am I trying to say? There's an age difference. Our grandmothers were old. Grandmothers today are 35. Am I making any sense?
I was 36
Yeah.
as a grandmother.
Grandmothers are younger.
Yes.
So they're busy with their vision and their lives, and they're still building a home.
Yes.
When their children are wanting them to help them. When we were growing up, our mothers were 29 and our grandmothers were 80. So sure, grandmothers want you to bring those kids and put them on their laps. So I think it's what you just said is generational. Because my grandma was just sitting home, dying for us to come over.
Well, how do you
But now
feel
it's
like,
the grandmother's 36, you know?
so how do you feel, because that's one
So,
area of conflict potentially, is just expectation.
Totally.
I think
Always.
and it could be
It could be
anything.
Anything.
Come help me clean my
So
house.
Yes.
Anything.
But you did. When I had Karis, you came and you stayed with me for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know what? I always tell, Priscilla and I have talked about this, I always tell Mommy that when you got on the bus, she came and stayed with me for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And Jonathan was 10.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks was a lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And she was working over, and there's not the laptop and the internet and all that.
So it's,
She's literally papers in a, attaché case doing work.
yeah.
And when you got on the bus, I don't know if you remember,
Oh,
but
I
we
do.
both cried.
It was terrible to leave.
We both
you.
cried.
Yeah.
And I was telling my sister, I
awful.
said, in that moment, that is the moment that marked for me.
Yeah.
My mom is a person.
Yeah.
My mom is a
Yes.
person because, number one, she left a life to come and give me 3 weeks. And she cried to leave me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I
She
had to go back
cried
to
to
that
leave me.
10-year-old. But
Yeah,
it
she
was hard
cried to leave me.
her,
So I think for me, a
You
lot
had a
of
10-year-old at the time.
Yeah, my brother was 10. So for me, I think from that moment forward, I don't know why that flipped the switch on. In
Well,
my
the
head.
vulnerability.
The
Sure.
vulnerability.
Connected you.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes too, that's probably where relational building with your mom is hard if she's not a naturally vulnerable person.
Right.
So you don't get
Marissa,
to
can I
see
interrupt
that.
you?
Yeah.
She could be a naturally vulnerable person, but she doesn't have time to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Building a family.
Yeah.
Because I'm naturally vulnerable. But we were building a church, we were building a family, building a marriage. Daddy was finishing seminary. I was just on go.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
when I came to help you, it's probably when, like you said, you saw that I could cry and things like
I
that.
was like, she's crying.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my gosh.
but our whole lives was building. So your dad probably
That's
of course
true.
saw me crying and saw me saying
Yeah.
I can't go anymore. You know, he saw the vulnerability, but in
Sure.
front of my kids, I'm just trying to make sure you guys have food to eat and clean clothes. Jonathan he's 35 and he has a favorite moment of remembering us being such a flurry to get you guys to school. Because you remember I had the lunch kits lined up,
Yes,
trying to fill the
yes.
lunch kits,
So
and
some of
Jonathan
them are-
remembers that I was actually drying clothes that he had put on.
That was the best though.
But he
The
said,
clothes out of the dryer was the best.
And the underwear was still a little wet.
he said at 35, that's my memory of you getting me warm clothes on to go to school. And to me, it was disaster as a mother.
it
But
was
the way he
dry.
remembers it. But the way he remembers
So
it.
I'm saying, I think a lot of parents and people are in a building mode, and that's why kids don't see that their parents are real, or that we didn't share with you guys the struggles we were having, trying to make ends
Right.
meet. You
Yeah.
guys didn't know all of that stuff, you know, but your situation pulled everything out of me because it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to leave.
You know,
So-
Chrystal, with
Anyway.
my relationship with my mom, we were long distance, and I really remember making a choice in my early days, especially when I became a public speaker, speaking in the pulpit. I felt I don't know if it was God, but I felt like I can choose examples and illustrations of what my mother didn't do. I can make a long list, or I can choose to talk about what she did do. And I chose to talk about
That's
what
good.
she did do. And I personally don't think that's not being vulnerable. And I personally never approached my mom with, really with all the things you didn't do, Mom. Because the wonderful things that my mother did shaped and created my character as your mother did. So it wasn't something for me personally. I didn't carry resentment though. Trina had to confess to me. She had to, because that's how we
It was
free
boiling
ourselves.
over.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But I
it's so
didn't
weird 'cause for
have.
years I didn't know that it was, and then the Holy
Okay,
Spirit just showed me, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like,
And
how
I don't know
crazy.
why
Yeah.
I didn't have resentment. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah.
Some of it can be a difference in personality.
Right.
She has
Right.
she has a much
Could be.
higher level of relational sensitivity, and I don't.
Okay.
I have a work ethic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the
and
way it
I'm
is.
black and white,
Yeah.
and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And you know, let's talk about this. And
Yes.
okay, is it over? It's done. Okay, erase. Let's move on.
Sure,
And you're
sure.
like, but I'm emoting here.
Exactly, I'm trying one.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's so important though. But it's cool. And with my adult daughters, same thing now. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, you get to
I've
wear
got-
your mom's shoes.
Well, now I've got
Yes,
10
she does.
grandkids, and I'm like, oh, how am I supposed to do what God's called me to do
So you have cousin camp.
to work with my
Where your
mom?
grandchildren come over for that 1 week, 4 days.
Well, yeah, but I try to spend quality time with all my grandchildren weekly. But to fit that in with all the other responsibilities and things that God's called me with, now I have new perspective.
She has a
Sure.
new.
So
But
I have
until
more
now,
grace
she's
for it.
been married to
Sure.
a businessman,
Sure.
not a pastor. She didn't.
Totally
run a
different.
business. She
Totally
was-
different.
Right.
Yeah.
Our personalities are different. I have 2 children, 6 years apart. I never had that frenzy. I never had that overwhelming feeling of being a mother. My house could always be orderly. So a whole, you know, and I think daughters, give your mothers grace. Look at the differences in a sense, and give your moms grace.
Yeah.
And because many things that we do wrong in the time at the age and stage we're in, we don't know that's wrong. Did you know it was wrong for you to fall asleep while she's? But she'll
Look, I'm like,
she's
it's
gonna
right
be
because I'm
sensitive.
sitting here.
Well-
I could have been in the bed.
Yeah,
You know what I
okay.
mean? I could have been in the bed with blanket and said,
Right,
no,
and
I'm not
she's
doing
looking
it.
at it as rejection.
So I'm
But
right.
staying up
let's
with
wait.
you.
Let's wait 15 years and see what she says about it. That's
Oh,
my
yeah.
point.
Oh, yeah.
I
So,
got you.
because
Yeah.
her
She's done.
perspective, you
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Right.
You have no
Wow.
idea what she's
And,
internalizing.
but my struggle is,
Yeah.
is
Let's
the
give each
days
other
when I
grace.
want to be
Yeah.
helpful in
Yes.
helping her, and the days when I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? You got to be kidding me. And I mean, I think that's why I ask if it hurts, because I know it's got to be difficult, even to be graceful in those conversations when you're
Right.
thinking, I'm understanding that you're saying
Yeah.
you were hurt, but
Yes.
are you kidding me?
Right,
You know
but
what I
did you
mean?
see what I was actually doing? Right.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I wasn't doing. But again, I think that's just the way the enemy works. You
Yeah.
know, like you say,
To divide.
Yes, to divide instead of thinking.
Keep us
Because
distracted.
mother-daughter relationships, I think, are so critical. They're so
Well, you know, I told
so
my
critical.
daughter when I had we were having a real rough time. She was great until like 17, and then all of a sudden it was just like, what happened? I thought we were clear. And I said, you know, I think the mother and daughter relationship is like Velcro. If you take Velcro and you stick it together and you leave it, when you finally go to pull it apart, it is really hard to unstick. Now, once you unstick it, then you bring it back together. It's a lot easier for it to come together and release, And I think mother-daughter relationships are different in the sense that we have a mother and daughter relationship that is different than a mother and son relationship, than a father and son.
Yes.
We are supposed to kind of reconnect in a different way. But that ripping apart and that separate identity, it is loud, it is noisy, and it's hard.
It's hard.
But then you need your mom. You need your mom
You do.
in different ways. You know, you need your mom.
And you only have one mom.
Many
Yeah.
years ago, I wish I could cite the author. This is not original to me, but I've quoted it for years. It's a book, it's very old, it's not published. And she said, the mother-daughter relationship is the most beautiful, frustrating, intimate, and tangled relationship shared among women. And I think that really defines it. So when you get to the frustrating moment, just remember, it's beautiful and intimate. When it feels so tangled, because seasons, it changes.
It does.
And when it feels tangled in the moment, just remember, it's beautiful and it's intimate.